Anyway, Smallville episode Abyss. As we said before, it was either going to be a hit or miss, and it was an awesome build-up. I gotta say. I mean, also like the effects budget was used.
Like we said, they were saving
saying
up.
they were like saving up because of the short climaxes.
Oh yeah, well, I was really a big fan of Labyrinth, and now I'm a bigger fan of Abyss. I think this was probably the best Smallville episode I've ever seen. Because what it did was it focused on Smallville characters, not the extraneous Oliver and Mercy, or Lois and Jimmy. I mean, there was Jimmy in it, but it really wasn't about him at all.
Yeah.
What it did was take the two main characters of Smallville, basically Clark and Chloe,
Yeah.
the people you've followed since the first season all the way up,
Yeah.
and pretty much closed it out as much as it's going to be closed out.
Concluded, I
What
guess.
they did was gave you a resolution that spanned Clark's past and her past and their mutual past together. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, it touched on the Kryptonian, and it touched on, Chloe and him as a child, and the memories, and how a human being is affected by these extraterrestrial, political, and fanatical, and criminal elements. Incorporated Brainiac, who's one of my favorite DC villains, and in the computerized version.
Yeah.
It touched on, pretty much everything I actually liked about the show.
And
I mean,
pretty much the stuff we're liking this season.
It went through all the memories of all the good points of the last seasons as she lost her memories.
Yeah.
It was actual legitimate acting on
Allison
Mack's part. She's got to be the best actress on the show.
She is.
She might be the best actress, as in the best performer on the show,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Her range in this episode was so excellent. It was actually a worthy performance to watch. You know what I mean?
It was. Yeah.
You get stuck in these stupid teen dramas, and every episode's the same.
Yeah,
but
I know. And it's
she really kind of blew it out of the park with her performance. So I have to give her a lot of credit.
Being happy-go-lucky to being fanatical. I can't remember my friends.
Is that your Allison Mack voice? You freak. I can't remember my friends. I can't. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. I think she did do the whole range of emotion, which was excellent.
Yeah.
And I was just hoping that Jimmy Olsen would die, but I guess that's never going to happen.
Well, was it?
And it also tied in really nicely with the current plot too. It wasn't just an episode out of the season. It was the perfect episode because not only did it advance the characters, it advanced the story that's been going for 8 years and the story that's in this season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It seems like everything moved forward. This was such an important episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This
I know
was
what you mean.
a keystone episode you have to see if you're watching this series up to this point. You know what I mean?
For anyone that's dropped out.
They made a crucial episode, and that's what I wanted all of them to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm watching the show, I don't want to see another Freak of the Week. We're beyond that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're into storylines and characters are so well developed. You can't have those drop of the hat people anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're in the midst of almost the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can't do that, especially.
Well, this was episode 9.
Especially when it's supposedly the last season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As we talked about, they should start moving forward, and they did.
And so they did, and this was a huge jump forward, and it saw so many great things. Not only the talents of Allison Mack, but also Terrence Stamp came back
as Jor-El.
In the
and
voice,
also
Brainiac's voice, James Marsden.
At the very end.
Yeah, but he came back for the voice.
Yeah.
So you weren't gypped. You know what I mean? If the Fortress came back and Jor-El's voice wasn't there,
yeah,
it would feel like something was missing.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? They brought everyone that needed to come in for it
mm-hmm.
at the same time. It was really just an excellent, excellent episode. And like you said earlier, another great thing, the effects budgets. There was actually effects in this one.
Yeah.
And there was enough where I was like, wow, look at all these effects. You know what I mean?
After Brainiac, absorbing everything in Chloe's mind.
Yeah, after the drought, and then as everything disappeared and just
Jimmy losing his face, The Question.
yeah, but not really.
I know, but he was faceless. I'm like, hey, Jimmy's The Question.
No, it didn't remind me of that.
No, that's what I thought.
And and then the fortress growing and coming back, they showed you, and then it being corrupted and.
Doomsday having his own Kryptonian insignia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so everything.
And also a blink if you miss it when Clark gets sucked out of Chloe's memory, there's a brief instance where you see the Superman S.
Mm-hmm. And
And jumping from season to season, like season 4 to season
yeah,
5.
like I was saying, I thought that was great.
Well, pretty much Brainiac's plan went off pretty well because I think that's ultimately what he wanted, to corrupt the fortress at the very end. Like Splinter when he got to...
Jor-El knew that too. He said, "Are you willing to risk it?"
Yeah, and he said...
Also, maybe the most important point of the show, even more than the whole Chloe thing, was Clark and him being like father and son. And
yeah,
being
that
like
was
allies.
that was probably like the best moment. It was the end.
It was like all the vindication that the fans have been waiting for.
Yeah, after
came
7 years, Clark finally calls Jor-El father, and that's what had me swinging my arms
and
up.
he was like, he finally not only assumed his destiny, but he understood what Jor-El was trying to tell him.
He was pretty much Superman.
And
like
all
he
his
was stepping up to be
and
Superman.
all his, quote unquote trials through these 8 years finally made a difference.
Well, he said,
they could finally talk as equals.
Yeah, he said, like, you call me a son, but you treat me like an enemy. You got to stop doing this now.
Yeah, and Jor-El knew that was it.
Yeah,
he
said, like, you matured, and I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm. And then that was it, and then they were allies again.
And then, like, Jor-El, like, cries for help as the black substance starts corrupting the crystals. And James
maybe
Mars
we'll see Brainiac again.
And James Marsden's, like, will monologue at the end.
Was awesome.
Saying your son's destined to fail and the House of L will fall. Doomsday is coming.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And also, Davis. Sam Witter did, a good job in this.
Yeah, another great actor, man. And for being, like, on The Apprentice, he really shows his range of acting. Yeah. He's probably the second best actor on the show.
To being this, like, mild, nice guy at the end of this episode to being, like, a desperate psycho, almost.
It's not fair, because he really was the nice guy throughout it all. He even did the right thing when he brought Chloe to him and stuff. It's just like...
But in the end, he was, like, questioning
He was just dicked over so many times. It's just not fair.
So, yeah, but also, like, him getting stabbed in the chest and the stuff that happened previous.
Yeah, he doesn't know...
blackouts and things like that. But also, man, the preview for next week. Woo! Doomsday's here.
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome.
I mean, the monster, the bone protrusions, the red eyes.
But you know what's really awesome? Lana's coming back. Yes. And she looks really good. I think that, I guess they had a break from the Street Fighter movie, or they're done filming it?
At this, yeah, pretty
much.
Anyway,
so let's just hope we see more of her in the next few episodes.
Oh, yeah, but there's just one bad that I had wrote down. Lois wasn't in this episode. I mean, just for, like, in flashes when Chloe's losing her memory. Just a scene with Lois or something.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, just to have that cousin thing.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And maybe...
Well, she's coming back.
But if you're doing that, you need a scene with her mom and a scene with dad. But, I didn't miss them because I think they addressed the people who... I don't know, I didn't feel they were missing. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that would have been a good addition if you were going to edit it again.
Well, Lois is going to be in.
Anyone who's going to the wedding is going to be there. I wonder if Clark's mom's going to be there.
That would be awesome if Martha showed up.
She should, but I doubt she will.
No.
But because then she's going to get crushed by Doomsday.
Or Doomsday pops Lana's head off.
Nah, I don't think so.
Ain't going to happen. But as we talked about,
But you know what's weird? Everything we've predicted about this season has come true.
Well, I think it's a good thing. I don't see it as a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm just...
Well, because, as I said on, posts for the site, I'm staying spoiler-free.
So. Yeah. Well, the next step now, by our assumptions, is Clark tries to stop Doomsday, he dies, and then Chloe brings him back to life and dies.
And, yeah.
As is her power.
And Lois, I think permanently leaves Smallville behind, lives in Metropolis, the Daily Planet. And also...
After Chloe dies.
Yeah. And in this episode, too, more of a friendship started between Clark and Jimmy. So I think their friendship will finally come whole.
Yeah, once Chloe stops
come to fruition,
Yeah. It's all aiming towards Chloe being killed.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can't skip around it.
Yeah. And I hope, things I'm hoping to see, Brainiac come back.
Well, also...
as, like, a crystal entity, or as James Marster.
Yeah, well, now Brainiac's out of her system. I don't think the Legion are coming to tell Clark about that. Well, I mean, there were some people questioning...
No, he's not there anymore.
No, not in Chloe anymore. Because she kind of served her purpose because...
It's probably to tell him... It's probably to help him with the fortress.
Because Doomsday was already, channeled.
But, it's probably to help him fight the fortress.
And, Brainiac's going to manipulate Clark by taking on Jor-El's voice. and hopefully Clark's smart enough. Well, he has been smart this season